بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, my dear students, in today's English lesson. Today's English lesson is going to be the last lesson in Unit 5. It's going to be form, meaning, and function. For this unit, is there any ice cream? Now, let's take a look. But before we start with this lesson, let's take a look at the previous homework. What were you asked to do and what did you do about it? So you were asked to write a recipe you like, including ingredients and directions. Now, let's take a look here. So, what do you see in the picture? You can see pizza. So, the recipe for this homework, it's pizza. Let's take a look at the ingredients for this pizza. So, ingredients here we have 1 pizza dough and 1 cup of tomato sauce, 1 cup of grated cheese, some olives, and 6 slices of green pepper. So here you have the quantities. 1 cup of tomato sauce. How much tomato sauce? 1 cup of tomato sauce. Now, how about the next one? 1 cup of grated cheese. Now, after looking at the ingredients, how can we make this recipe? What are the steps? Let's take a look. So the direction to make this recipe is like this. First, put the pizza dough on a pan. Then, put the tomato sauce on the dough. After that, add the olives and slices of green pepper. Then, sprinkle the grated cheese on top. Finally, bake in the oven until it's done. So here, finally, you're going to do the step until it's done. So until here, it's a time word. Now, here are the words of frequency. First, then, after that, and then finally. So these are the steps. You're going to do one step, then the next step, after that, the next step. Finally, this is the final step. So these are the directions of creating this pizza. Now, let's take a look. What are we going to do in this lesson? So we are done with all of these parts in this unit. Today, we are here in form, meaning, and function. What are we going to do in this lesson? So by the end of this lesson, you will be able to use to enough correctly in context and differentiate between too much and too many. When are we going to use too much and when are we going to use too many? Now, let's take a look here. So, what can you see in the picture? So, it's a picture of a dish, right? You can see soup. Now, let's take a look here. So, we can say, I don't like the soup. It's too salty. It's too salty. So, I don't like it. So, what is the reason for that? Because it's too salty. Now, here we have the word too. So, too and enough, too can be placed before adjectives. It's too salty. How can we describe the soup? It's salty. So, here, the word is of exaggeration. It's too salty. That's why I don't like it. Now, let's take a look here. So, too much can be placed before non-count nouns and too many before count nouns. So here we have too much and too many. Too much before non-count nouns, too many before count nouns. Now, you have this information, but how can we have it in a sentence? What is it going to look like? So it's going to look like this. I don't like the soup. There's too much salt in it. Too much salt in it. Now, we have too much and too many. So let's go back here. Too much for non-count. That means the word salt here, it's a non-count noun. That's why we're using too much for it. But if the noun is count noun, we're going to use too many. So we will have the same example, but with a count noun. I don't like the soup. There are too many carrots in it. So I know that carrots, it's a count noun. And salt, it's a non-count noun. Can you count the pieces of salt? You can't. It's a non-count. That's why we're using too much for non-count and too many for count nouns. Now, let's take a look here. How about the word enough? So when are we going to use it? Enough can be placed after the adjective. After the adjective. So here, the word to, it's before the adjective. But enough, it's after the adjective. So it's like this. Just let's take a look at this example. Don't add more salt. The soup is salty enough. So here we have the word salty. Salty, it's describing the soup, right? The soup is salty. We have the word enough after the word that's describing this noun. The soup is salty enough. So we have the word enough and we have the word to. To before the adjective and enough, it's after the adjective. Let's take a look here at this word, this part. Enough can be placed before count and non-count nouns. We have enough eggs, but we don't have enough sugar. So it can be placed before and before count or non-count nouns. You can use the word to for both. Just like this example here. We have enough eggs. Enough eggs. Eggs, it's a count noun. I can count the pieces of eggs. I count the eggs here. We have six eggs, right? But how about the sugar? Can you count the sugar? It's a non-count noun. So, but we can use enough before or after the count and the non-count nouns, just like this example. Now, let's take a look here. A phrase with to or enough can be followed by an infinitive phrase. So, what does that mean? It's just like this. Take a look at this example and let's see the meaning of this sentence. The soup is too hot to eat. The soup is too hot to eat. Here we have the word to and also we have the word to. The same pronunciation, but different writings, different spelling. Here we have to with double O and then the other one is to with only one O. The soup is too hot to eat. I can't eat the soup. It's too hot to eat. And I have enough vegetables to make a salad. So here we have this example with to and enough. It's here in this example, I have enough vegetables to make a salad. So too hot to eat and enough vegetable to make something. Okay? Now, did you see the usage of to and enough here as an infinitive phrase? Now, let's take a look here. We are going to try to answer these questions with the correct answers about to and enough. So, complete the sentences with to or enough. Let's take a look. So, the first one, I have something, time to cook dinner. I don't have something, I don't have something time to cook dinner. What is the suitable word for this part? Is it to or enough? I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. Now, let's take a look at the second sentence. The restaurant is something crowded. Let's eat somewhere else. The restaurant is too crowded. It's exaggeration. Too crowded. We can't sit here. Look at the picture. Do you see any empty chairs? Any empty tables? So it's too crowded. Let's eat somewhere else. Let's find another place. Let's take a look at more examples here. We're going to choose to or enough for these sentences. There were many sandwiches, but not something salad. So what are we going to use here? There were too many sandwiches. Too many sandwiches. So here we have too many, but not something salad. But not enough salad. So too many sandwiches, but not enough salad. So here we did use both of the words, too and enough. Let's take a look at the next one. No more thank you. That's no more thank you. That's something rice for me. That's what? That's enough rice for me. That's enough rice for me. Now let's take a look at the next one. It's something hot here. Can we turn the air conditioner? So it's what? It's hot. It's too hot here. It's very hot. It's too hot. We want to turn on the air conditioner. How about the next one here? These shoes are something big, and those shoes aren't big something. So what are we going to use here? These shoes are too big. These shoes are too big. And those shoes aren't big enough. So all of these shoes are not the correct size. So, and they don't fit. So these shoes are too big and those shoes aren't big enough. Now, after doing this example with too and enough, let's complete these sentences with too much, too many, or not enough. Too much, too many, or not enough. Now, do you remember the usage of too much? It's for the non-count nouns. Too many for count nouns. Now, let's take a look here. The first one, there are something here, people in this restaurant. We can't find a table. So, for this noun, people, what are we going to use? Too many or too much? There are too many people. Too many people. So people, it's a non-count noun. It's a count noun. So too many people. People, it's a count noun. That's why we used too many. Now, the next example here. There are something desserts to choose from. I want to try them all. So there are too many desserts. So for desserts, what are we going to choose? Too many or too much? Too many. There are too many desserts. Now, let's take a look at the next one. Something sugar and something sweets aren't good for you. So what are we going to use? Too much, too many, or not enough? So, for sugar, is it a count noun or a non-count noun? It's a non-count noun. That means we're going to choose too much. Too much sugar and something here, sweets. Sweets. What kind of noun is it? And what are we going to choose? It's a count noun. Here we have S. It's a count noun. That's why we're choosing too many. Let's read the sentence. Too much sugar and too many sweets aren't good for you. Let's take a look at the next example. I can't eat all this. There's here something here, pasta on my plate. I can't eat all this. There's too much pasta on my plate. Pasta, it's a non-count noun. That's why we used too much. Now, the next example. I have something here, work to do, and something free time to relax. So what are we going to use here? Too much, too many, or not enough? I have work. So for work, what are we going to use? Too much work. I have too much work. And something free time to relax. Because here the sentence, I have too much work to do. And something time to relax. What are we going to choose? Too many time to relax? No, we can't choose that. So not enough. Not enough time to relax. Now, let's take a look at the next one. He's still hungry. There was something food. He's still hungry. So what about the food? So not enough food. He's still hungry. There was not enough food. Now, let's complete these sentences with infinitive phrases. We have the beginning of the phrase. Let's complete the sentence. Okay? So what can you see here in this picture? I can see a man and he's calling on the phone and working on his laptop. So is he a busy man or he's not busy? Well, looks like he's a busy man. So it's too late. What are we going to use here? Infinitive phrases. It's too late to what? Too late to call him on the phone. Maybe it's late at night. It's too late to call him on the phone. This could be a possible answer. Now, let's take a look at the next one. There isn't enough time to what? Here we have too late to call him. Here, enough time to what? Enough time to finish the work. So, there isn't enough time to finish the work and it's too late to call him on the phone. Looks like the man is upset. He's trying to manage this. Now, let's take a look at the next one. Here, do we have enough eggs? What is going to be the rest of the sentence? Do we have enough eggs to make a cake? Do we have enough eggs to make the cake? Here we have enough and two. Now, how about this picture? What can you see in the picture? Well, I can see a little boy and he's behind the wheel. Can this boy drive the car? Why? Why can't he drive the car? Because he's too young to drive the car. Little boys can't drive the car. They're too young. So here, he's too young to drive a car. Now let's take a look at this example and we are going to complete it with infinitive phrases. To something to do thing or enough something to do thing. Okay? So we're going to choose to or enough for this example. So here, I'm too tired to what? Look at the picture of this boy. What is he doing? Looks like he was playing. Why? Look at his uniform. He's wearing something for sports, right? And he's sitting on the field. Looks like he's tired. So that's why he's sitting. So what about this? Let's take a look at the example here. I'm too tired to what? I'm too tired to go for a walk. He's too tired to go for a walk. That's why he's sitting here to relax. And here, there's a question. It's not just a sentence. So what are you going to add here for the question? Are you too busy? Then, are you too busy to help me with my homework? So here, it's a yes-no question. Are you too busy to help? So for infinitive phrase, we have too busy to help. And before here, too tired to go for a walk. So now let's take a look. So what did we do in today's lesson? We used too and enough correctly in context, and we did differentiate between too much and too many. When are we going to use too much and too many? We can use too much for the non-count nouns and too many for count nouns. Do you remember the example of the soup? So in the soup, there's too much salt. Salt, it's a non-count noun. That's why we're using too much salt. But how about if it's a count noun, if we have a count noun, like carrots? We have, so there are too many carrots in the soup. There are too many carrots in the soup. The soup tastes like carrots, right? So too many for the count nouns and too much for the non-count nouns. Now, let's take a look. What are you going to do for your homework? So we're going to complete the following sentences with different answers. Here we have these three sentences. I'm too busy to what? Here we have all of these three sentences. I'm too busy to something. So I want you to write three different answers. I'm too busy to what? You can write anything you like. So too busy to watch TV, too busy to what do you think that is a pastime activity that you're too busy to do? So here you can write 3 different answers, and we are going to check these answers in the next lesson. And thank you, my dear students. I will see you in the next lesson.